Alright, this video explanation of how to install the update for your KartSim livery. And note that I will be using this zip pack, which is what I've attached in the beginning. I will not be opening the PDF tutorials up for obvious reasons, but this is the same DDS file that you will all have available. So we start out by opening rFactor 2. And it's important that you do this first if you have not previously made a livery. If you have made the livery for the new cards already, because you're making one for more people and so on, it's fine to just go straight into it. Alright, so first we're going to navigate to the card that we are going to base our car on. So it'll be KartSim 2021 and an X30 card. And for the sake of making this tutorial clear, I'm just clicking on number 2 here. You can pick any of the default ones. I have 2 here that I've made for others. Do not use those, because if you accidentally use one that has not been made by the game itself, then the card won't work. And I can't explain to you why, but just pick one of the default ones. Click on Customize, and it should load up the card in this neat 3D viewer. Click on the Create tab, and click on Create Skin Directory here. That will bring this field up here, which you won't see before creating this. So this is obviously a directory which we can navigate to. And if we look here, I'm in the settings folder. We can go to ksx30_2021 and then KartSim_x30_2, which is this one. So open this in a new window. Hang on, I'll just delete my example files here. There. This is what it's going to look like for you. So now, in order to take the previous card that you've made, that I've either made for you before, or you have gotten from someone else, or maybe you've made it yourself, we will go to the folder that is called the same thing as the 2021 folder, except it has this number changed. Because you are using the Pro software, it will say KSP instead of just KS, but the process is exactly the same. So in this case, I want to recreate my example card. So I open the 2018 folder, I go to the card that I want to recreate, and then I mark all the DDS files. And I copy those, and I paste them into the new directory here. So from the 18 into the 2021. Then I take the file that I have supplied in the zip file on the Facebook group, and I drag that into the new folder as well. Your name in the file name must be replaced to match something that matches your card. In this case, my base card name is Alt-EX. If your file is called, for instance, Alt77, then you put Alt77 here, but still _region. The region is the only new file that we will see with this update, and the region map is simply just telling rFactor 2 where the materials go. The region map I've supplied you just tells the entire card that it is made from sticker material, because that would fit pretty much what you're using in real life, as it's just a sticker going on the different fairings. This fix does not provide any of the fancier material stuff that rFactor 2 can do now, but it is sufficient to make the cards run and make them look nicer than they did before. Alright, so now that we have everything in the 2021 folder, we are actually done with the 2018 folder, so we'll close that one. And we'll go in rFactor 2 again, and we will refresh. In the skins drop down here, you now select the base file, which in my case is AltEx, and you'll see now that the skin file has loaded in. If your cart does not change to look the way it's supposed to look by you doing this, then you might have copied the mass file also, which you need to delete. It's only the DDS files. But okay, now that it works, we can create our cart. Now, since this is a new version, I highly recommend that you put the year number in here. So I am just going to call this example cart underscore 2021. Note that you can only put 2 words in this field. I have covered this in the text document, but for reasons beyond me, rFactor 2 cannot load if you put 3 words here. That's why I use the underscore. In team name, you put whatever, so I just put example cart 2021 again. And in cart description, I'll put what I want the cart to be shown as in the menu. So in this case, I'll call it number 11. Example cart 2021. And the car number will then be 11 for obvious reasons. All these fields just follow the maximum 2 words. It will keep your life easier later on. And we will create the team car. And rFactor 2 will just flash for a second. And team car created. So now that means we have a directory in the 2021 folder named the same as what we just put in the driver name field. You can see the 2 are related. This has also created this file, which just tells rFactor where the card is. We'll open this folder here, and I can tell that something has gone wrong and it hasn't imported the stuff here. So we'll just open this example card, and we'll open the old folder here. And the 2 files named driver and helmet have not been copied properly, so we copy them and paste them in here. That's fix number 1. For fix number 2, we need something that can open mass files, and it will be called altex.mass in my case. It'll be called alt whatever in your case. We need to open this using the rFactor 2 mass utility, which is found in your rFactor 2 folder, support, and tools. You open this program, and you open this one with it. And here you can see that something is not quite right, because it's missing the driver and helmet file again. We'll take those 2, we'll drag it in and copy, and we'll hit Control S. That's all. Just make sure that these files match what you have in here and hit Control S. And all these should now look the same. You can close this, and we can close the mesh utility. So now we can compare. We'll jump back to the 2018 folder to the example card. We now have the 3 DDS files here plus the mass, which now becomes 4 DDS files plus the mass, because we now have a region file that we didn't before. Alright, so now that we've done the work outside of the game, we will go back in the game and just go back to the menu, where we now have a new entry up here on the top called number 11 example card 2021, which is what I used. And then we select that one. And then we can load it in and check it. Just as a quick tip, if you don't know already, install Joe's World Speedway from the workshop. That is the fastest track in the game to load. So that's what the devs use also. That makes it much easier to check it. And we'll click race to check it. If all has worked correctly, then we will see our cart on track now with the helmet and the suit working completely as we were used to doing it. Do note that there is a slight chance that the colors have gone off a little bit. and that's normal because of the way the rendering system now works. But this looks good. Everything is as it was before, apart from the fact that the kart itself now actually should have a slightly more realistic appearance. You'll see this in the reflections. But that's it. That is how simple it is to update the karts to run again. And like I said in the beginning, everything I am doing in this video is already covered in the PDF, so you can relate the two together and just use that as a good basis. I hope this was helpful. If you have any further issues, then do feel free to ask for help. Most likely you have just done something slightly wrong when it comes to the naming of the files, and I recommend just simply deleting whatever you have already made and starting over from scratch, because that tends to fix the problem. Like I said, this does not take advantage of the full new material system that we have in rFactor 2, and I'm just going to demonstrate what that means in one of my own cars. This is not something that is strictly necessary, and it is something that takes some time to implement, so I'm not able to offer you that for free simply with the amount of orders that I'm handling at the moment. But on a kart, it will be very minute and barely visible, so I would recommend against spending your money on this. If you ever order a new kart, I will of course include it from day one, so everything should be running just fine. Let's just like rFactor 2 load, and then I will show you what the potential is on one of my own cars here. Alright, apologies for the load, but here is a car with the material system implemented. And what you can maybe see in the video is that the purple bit has a metallic effect in it, and the yellow bit is slightly red in a pearlescent way, which is visible on the door right now. And additionally, areas like the roof are properly matte black, and you can see that the decals on the bonnet have slightly different specular properties to the bonnet in yellow. So this is essentially what it can do. It can take real-world lacquer effects and real-world vinyl effects and apply them to the entire car or to select areas. But it does take a lot of effort to do this, so I would recommend against investing in it if it has to be a retrofit to a kart. If it's made from day one with this, it's no problem. I hope that was a helpful little insight. So, best of luck.